to episode 4 of the podcast, you big bastards. How's it going?
What an opening. How's your week been?
How's my week? Pretty busy. Just stuck in the same thing all week at work, but I think I finally got it resolved. Nearly cried on Friday because it wouldn't fucking work, but that's just me being a bit of a fucking diva. But other than that, I'm still breathing, still kicking. Just happy to be here, still alive, recording another episode.
Amazing.
Yeah.
More episodes, more power to the people. You'll notice we have a more clean setup, so really, my ma gave me a kick up the hoop and said, "You'll not be putting my kitchen like that online again." So just moved to a whole other room. Yeah, just moved to a whole other room and completely gutted everything out, except for our new mascot. You can name him in the comments if you want.
Craic.
We're going with Craic, maybe. Nothing really of note to correct myself on last time because I just big-brained it last time and didn't get a single thing wrong. Everything I said was right and nobody had any issues with it at all.
That sounds like me every day of my life, so I'm the exact same way.
That's housekeeping out of the way, all the niceties. Pretend I like you because I have to for the podcast.
Me or them?
You.
Alright, fair enough.
What we go with, so I was talking about the wonderful corporation that is the Walt Disney Company.
Ooh, where's this going? But take the floor.
Okay, so we talked a few episodes ago that Disneyland, their entertainments, attractions, venture made them like 300 something million in the last quarter, despite only being open for 2 months of it.
Fuck. Yeah.
Well, their retail stores, they're closing every last one of them. And moving online. The one in Belfast closes on the 18th, they're staggering them. But eventually they're going to get rid of every single Disney store they have around the globe and moving it online, presumably because during lockdown, kids that weren't maybe exposed to Disney movies have been watching more and they want the toys now.
Yeah.
But the toys weren't available because the stores were shut. So they were like, we'll go online, and they just saw a surge in online business that hasn't been going back in store once they opened up again.
So what I'm hearing is that there's a sale in the actual Disney stores?
There is a sale in the actual Disney stores, not for everything, I think for things that they're not going to sell online, so most of it's going to go back to the warehouse and just go online. But a lot of the stuff, some of the stuff is on sale for like 50% off. But keep in mind, normal prices are through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
So even when it is on sale for 50% off, it's still extreme money. Like something was on sale for half off when we were up earlier and it was still like 35 quid. So
pretty fucking extortionate then.
Pretty extortionate.
Yeah.
But it happens. It's just one of those things.
So they're moving completely online.
Completely online, except for the attractions, the parks. Obviously, they're keeping those.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't do that shit, man. But,
just put on a VR headset. You're on Space Mountain. That's £500, please. You have to wait 25 minutes for it to load.
But I wonder what sort of impact that's going to have. Like, are they going to, in the long term? my voice is like
just returns.
Is it going to be beneficial for them in the long term, or are they
I'm assuming it will be because they won't have the overheads of running the storage or paying the rent or anything. So
that's also true. Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting to see. Maybe they own all the stores. I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to segue from there into Shang-Chi. It's their big. It's their big hitter. They're like, yes, we got to get Shang-Chi promoted, or Shang-Chi, or however you want to pronounce it. The right way or the way us English folk do.
Irish.
Us Brits. What did you think about the movie? Because we saw it together. What did you think of it?
So, I went into the movie kind of just wanting a fucking night out for my hectic work week. I didn't really know much. I hadn't really fucking heard about the character at all before I had saw the trailers for the movie, and I didn't really know much about it at all. But I thought it was a good movie. Like, it's what you expect from Marvel, and the premise was pretty good. It's over the top as fuck, as most Marvel movies are. But I enjoyed it like for for the sake of going out to see a movie. I thought it was pretty good, and as far as Marvel movies go, it's it's what you expect, and it's not any like kind of worse than any other Marvel movies I've seen, and I enjoyed it just for all the fucking ninja shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it too. I could kind of tell you were just going in the mood for a night away from your work, because like anytime something minor happened in the film, you're like, oh, fuck's sake. It just reminded you of a past time.
I just wanted some fucking popcorn and a large Coke Zero.
Large popcorn and a lot of noise on screen. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Obviously, it's like they've just come off the back of Endgame and stuff. Like the most recent movie was Black Widow for them. So like, I guess they're kind of getting used to all the new stuff rather than. Because like that universe with Chris Evans and stuff, it goes back 10, 15 years.
Pretty much.
Big decent chunk, so they're kind of starting again and rebuilding all the lore, and maybe some fans of...
What was this, like phase 3 or phase 4 or something
phase
like
4,
that?
I think.
Phase 4, is it? Right. But
and they've all the TV shows and stuff going in, so... But we were in the Disney store earlier. This leads on from the last point as well.
Yep.
They have Shang-Chi action figures.
Mm-hmm.
And like the guy on the picture, I think, is the comic book drawing, but kind of half morphed with Simu Liu's face to make it kind of like from the movie.
I think I seen your story about that earlier on Instagram. It looked very anime or something.
Yeah. Simu Liu looking big anime style. They're doing a deal with they're not doing a deal with Xbox. There is like a limited edition Shang-Chi Xbox, and there's only like 1 or 2 available, I think, and they're giving that away on the Tweetbook. Yeah. And like the little free stuff where I am, I was straight on it. I didn't even read the terms. So like, no, my luck, it'll be the one that I win, and then it'll be like, oh wait, you have to live in the US. I'll have to give it away.
Well, at least you won it. It's always nice to win things, even if you can't actually get them.
Just say you won it. See him playing my Xbox. I gave it to him. I took thick with Shang-Chi and I said, give that thing away.
You know what? I don't even fucking want it anymore. Give it to him.
But no, like it's good seeing like obviously Asian actors and stuff being in the movies, because it's not that they're whitewashed, but normally like the comics and stuff, it's just like products of their time. Obviously Shang-Chi was always Asian because of the name, but most comics in general sort of, we're in the 50s or the 60s, whatever era they're in. Yeah. It's normally more appealing to have a white character for the appeal, so it's good that they've gone with sort of a...
One thing I will say about the movie, like at some points it sort of felt like a fucking Korean like Netflix drama or something. I don't know if you got that sort of vibe from it too.
At some points, yeah. Kind of the whole the whole suspense around who he really is. When he could have just said in his room, he could have just turned around and said, "My dad's a evil dude that's been around for the last 1,000 years, and now he wants to like get me back on his side."
And I'm sorry, this might be controversial, but see, like his like sort of like his girl sidekick or whatever, I wasn't into her at all. Like she was just so fucking annoying at points. Like you'll recall there's one picture in the movie where she like plummets, and if you probably remember me just going thank fuck.
You were like, I don't remember. I remember. She was falling and then she got saved, and you're like, oh, you were so annoyed that wasn't finished.
I just wasn't into it at all. That bit,
I think there's a character in BoJack Horseman. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's based on her.
I haven't seen a lot of BoJack Horseman. So
she's Aquafina, but there's like a character. It's either based on her or the name is taken from her, just because. It's like the character in the movie or in BoJack, because they're like half animals, half people. Yeah. She's like half whale, so she's called Aquafina, and she's Aquafina with a W. So they just like sort of changed it to Aqua, like in the sea. Yeah. I don't know if it's based on her or not, but it's kind of I see similarities. Yeah.
She just kind of reminded me of. Have you seen? It wasn't the latest Star Wars, it was the one before that, and there was that girl Rose in it or whatever. It was Finn's
I think she got a bad rep.
I don't know, man. I was like, fuck.
I think she was alright, you know?
No, I feel like they just put her in for the sake of it. Like,
A lot of it does sometimes come down to bad writing, but I am kind of happy that there is a, because like it's a big thing for the representation. Like you can't fully, if you can't see yourself in a character, then you're not really fully with it. So it's good that there's like, you know, kind of those. I don't want to say diverse well, I want to say diverse, but I don't want it to sound like I mean, oh, that's the diversity hire. Like I'm not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I know
what you mean. I know what you mean.
Good way that it's a diverse kind of cast. Then you know there's. Yeah.
But at the same time, in my head, like as you say, it's good that they're doing a diverse thing. But like sometimes I feel like they just like fucking put characters in for the sake of it, and you just end up hating the characters.
Well, yeah, there is some like well, they write characters to be like all a minority or something. So Sia, the artist, the legendary, all powerful visionary Sia, has written a movie about autism.
Sia, is that the doll with the fucking hair?
With, like, the lampshade. Like they all say lampshades. Yeah, she's written a movie about it's either about autism or about someone with autism, and hired someone that wasn't autistic to play the character. And she said, oh, it's because people with autism wouldn't be able to handle the actual schedule of shooting. So she kind of basically said everyone that has autism is a kind of, like, you know, the extreme cases you see of people that literally cannot speak because they're so neurodiverse. Or not diverse, divergent, or I don't know.
I know what you mean.
I don't know how to speak about these things without sounding like an ass and then getting cancelled when they take it out of context.
I don't know. Yeah.
But basically, so Sia basically came out and said, oh no, I didn't hire someone that was autistic to play the character because they wouldn't be able to handle the intensive shooting schedule and stuff, as if everyone that is on the spectrum is one of those kinds that just sits and goes...
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
So she got a lot of backlash for that.
Yeah.
So there is a way where, like, you can't, if you write a character with the purpose of being diverse for no reason other than to virtue signal it, I think people pick up on it really quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, of it. I can't really think of any Marvel movies that do it.
No.
But I know there are a load of them. I'm like, what's the point of that character doing whatever? Like, you always see them. I don't know, they try and like about LGBTQ characters where the whole movie is about how nobody likes the fact that they're gay or whatever. I think it's really well done when the movie is about something completely different. Oh, by the way, she's gay.
Yeah.
As if it's just something, like, it doesn't have to be something that makes you different. The whole point is that it's about, like, it makes you, like, you're the same as everybody else and you just happen to also be gay.
Yeah.
Or be bi. So it doesn't really make sense that there's, oh, she's different because she's gay. It's like I know plenty of people that aren't gay that have a life exactly like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I feel, as you say, I can't speak, virtue signaling, it's like, they'll just, like, sort of, like, throw all these, like, fucking loopholes into something that don't need to be in it, and, like,
yeah, just to make it seem more...
Yeah, just,
preachy.
But then in doing that, it almost becomes more offensive because they're, like, just doing it for the sake of doing it rather than having a purpose, because they feel that they have to do it.
Yeah.
Which makes it seem so, like, unnatural. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's what is it? Is it the Bechdel test or something? That could be a completely different thing. But basically, it's like a movie passes it or a movie or a TV show passes it if there's two female characters talking to each other about something other than a man.
Yeah.
And there's like so many films that just don't pass it. I mean, I don't know. Well, like when you look at things like how Hollywood has been structured, obviously with how Harvey Weinstein was and all that sort of stuff, you sort of start to notice why things are the way they are, I guess, in the industry.
Yeah.
But it's slowly changing, I think, anyway. And yeah.
Definitely, 100%.
Any topics?
I don't know. I think we've kind of talked that one to death.
Well, that's all I have. I'm away home.
See
See you later.
I don't know. There's like nothing really. There's nothing really off the top of my head.
Well, let's move on then.
Yeah.
We'll move on, but we'll stay on the same thread. So we'll stay in the Marvel thread. We've talked about this briefly, but there's another Spider-Man game coming out.
Oh yes, that's right.
It's still going to be Insomniac Games, who made the first one.
Yeah, they also made Miles Morales as well, didn't they?
I think they did, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Miles Morales had the whole the IGN review. The way Miles Morales leaps off buildings in this game is just full of the exaggerated swagger of a black teen. You're just...
What the fuck does that even mean?
Just if you close your eyes and listen to him, you just imagine the dude in the office in like the golf shirt and the beige trousers with this cup of coffee. And like,
how can we make this phrase as inclusive as possible?
Yeah.
By doing something that makes it so fucking weird and just alienates it even more.
I just love how full of the exaggerated swagger of a black... Oh, just shut up. Just
shut the fuck up.
Tell me about the game.
Yeah, stop saying random shit.
Stop saying random stuff. But yeah, so it's coming out. It looks like Venom is going to be the big bad.
Oh really? Class.
I see some people are thinking that that's kind of an issue because he's been the ultimate big bad in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Now this game, the Spider-Man 3 game, which was obviously based on the movie, so yeah.
I don't see why it's an issue.
I don't know. I think in the first Spider-Man game there was a good range of people. So there was Wilson Fisk at the start. He was a big bad.
Yeah.
And then there was Mr. Negative, but at the same time there was a whole lot of people from Rikers Island and stuff.
Yeah.
So they did a good mix of, and there was Doc Ock as well. He was like the big bad, as well as Mr. Negative.
Was he? See, I've played about half an hour of the game.
Yeah.
I still need to finish it, but yeah.
So it's pretty good. I think they'll have Venom and maybe a whole lot of other side ones, or maybe it'll end up you're working with Venom at some point. Or will they stay true to the way Spider-Man 3 the start film was? But to everyone that says, "Oh, I want more than just Venom," they're sort of coming and saying, "Oh well."
You develop it then. Fucking make it.
You make it.
You make it.
Some people are coming saying like Spider-Man or Insomniac really are in love with the IP, the same way that Rocksteady is with the Arkham games. Like they really love the whole Batman universe, so they wouldn't do something that obviously no one would like because they're big nerds about it. Yeah,
they don't want. They're scared of disappointing people.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty. That'll come out pretty good.
I would love a game where you actually play as Venom or something. That'd be cool as fuck.
That would be pretty good. Tom Hardy's Venom. You just land in front of somebody.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up!
Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it! On a side note, if you've never seen Bronson, watch it. It's a fucking brilliant movie.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, I say it's good. I've never seen it, but I've seen bits and pieces, and they look good. So the movie's probably good.
It's based on the real life prisoner Charles Bronson, who's just a mad motherfucker.
No relation to Charles Manson.
No relation to Charles Manson, but I guess I shouldn't really be like glorifying his behaviour of like holding prison officers hostage and stuff. It's not a good thing to do.
It happens. Happens to the best of us.
The movie is good. Tom Hardy seems to portray him pretty well. It's obviously exaggerated, but it's a good movie. It's an entertaining watch. Yeah. So there we go. Deep breaths in. New Spider-Man game coming out. Looks good. Venom's the big bad.
Venom's the big bad, maybe.
Great stuff.
Question mark, hopefully.
Yeah. I guess on a completely unrelated topic, we were just informed of a very random yet equally hilarious story about half an hour ago. In the fact that somebody we know knows went to get a chippy, but whenever he went to collect the chippy, he also did not realise that he had a fanny pad stuck to his shoulder.
Female sanitary product.
Now, how the fuck he got a female sanitary product stuck to his shoulder in the first place is kind of beyond me, and that's kind of where my head's at. I just like
thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, just pretty bizarre too. Like, how was he in such close contact with it that it got stuck?
I don't know, like, because obviously those liners, and so I don't know, was it a full thing? Because I was kind of only half paying attention. Like, was it a full?
I don't know, you're asking the wrong guy.
Or if it was just the wrapper, because I know the wrappers can get everywhere just from knowing them. So, like, was his t-shirt lying on the floor and then one of the wrappers got stuck to it with like a little adhesive edge and then put it on? I don't know. But it's such a weird occurrence. Like, would you not feel something like you get in the car? The very instant I sit down in my car seat, if something at all is off, I know. Like, if your t-shirt is slightly...
It's your sanctuary. You just know it's your shrine.
I am at one with the Ricky yoke. But, like, as soon as you sit down in your car, like, as soon as you put yourself back on the backrest, even if your shirt is slightly wrinkled, you're like...
Aye, like, there could be, like, a fucking pee under your chair.
And
no.
This isn't right. I need to get a new chair.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's going on.
That was it just popped into my head, and I thought it was pretty bizarre and equally hilarious.
It's a weird,
I thought you should know it, and now you do. What did you think of our Feast of Gods yesterday?
The Feast of Gods. I must apologise to the gods for I did not finish.
Weak man, weak-willed son of a gun.
Weak-willed. I mean, I'll go on about it a little bit, so and then I'll hand over to you. So we went to Native Seafood. You know, our favourite place that we never talk about because we just don't think anyone on the podcast will really like it.
Shout out Native Seafood.
But anyway, so Native Seafood, they have these things every so often where they open late or they open they close for a bit and then open up, and you can book a table. Normally it's walk in and sit down and eat, and then you sit down, you then tell them the table you're at and they bring you your food. But they do these things, you go in, you book a table on Instagram or whatever, you go in, chill out, vibe, it's pretty good.
It's like sort of tapas style food.
Yeah, sort of tapas style food. So you go in, then you order what you want, and then they bring you over your stuff and your drinks. And sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes than normal stuff. Sometimes it's just the same price because it isn't on a menu. But they did like kind of street food this time, so it wasn't all seafood, it wasn't all fish, it wasn't all prawns or whatever. So I had a trio of sliders. So it was 3 burgers. One had, I think it was pulled beef. One had monkfish in it, which is like. Someone described it to me as the chicken of the sea, and I really relate to it.
The chicken of the sea.
The chicken of the sea. I was like, yes, I love it. So I had some chicken of the sea, and then the other one was cod, I think. And I don't know whatever way I was feeling, but when I was eating the cod, I was like, you know when you cook a fish cake, but you overdo it, and it's kind of like dry and herby or something, but I think my mouth was just dry because I let Hannah try some and she was like, what are you talking about, it's fine, it's perfect.
Were you perhaps feeling like a bitch?
That's not nice.
I'm not here to be nice.
I'm not here to be nice, I'm here to tell the truth. But yeah, so it didn't quite I finished my beef one and I finished the monkfish one. Well, I finished all the fish out of the monkfish one. And then it was just bread and sauce left. I was like, I'll move on to the other one.
Fuck those carbs.
Like halfway through the other one, and I was like, okay, I'll have some of this monkfish. They had monkfish corn dogs, and they were delicious. And I loved it so much. And they had katsu sauce, and they had fries, and it was so good. And I posted beforehand. I was like, this is your chance to get the scran. Yeah. And from what I hear, none of you Instagram followers decided to go. Which is on you because honestly, it was so good. They had some music playing that night, but the only slots they really had available for our party size was at the start of the night, so the music arrived after we left. But otherwise, it was pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. I went for the lobster mac and cheese, and I think the first time I tried lobster was it last week? We also went, or was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was.
And lobster is basically just like an even fancier fucking prawn that's a bit more buttery, but it's tasty as shit. Love the fucking lobster mac and cheese, and then with that I also got it It was like a Parmesan and truffle fries. Now, I don't know what the fuck truffle is, but it apparently makes it a bit more bougie, and it did really taste nice. So I was vibing with that, definitely. And unlike this guy, I fucking demolished everything. And I'll be back for more soon.
Oh.
Mark my words. But no, 100% the food's fucking lovely, and
absolutely.
I recommend you to go if you're ever in the Port Stewart or Korean area.
I think, and we discussed this, I don't know, but I'm thinking actually it might be true. When I get married, we'll do it, and then hopefully they'll have finished their actual restaurant by then. So there's like in Korea, near where they have the little pod thing now, there's like a yacht club building behind that, but they've also bought that, so they're going to turn that
into... that's where they're building a restaurant?
Yeah, so that's where they're putting a real restaurant.
Well, it makes sense, it's right beside the fucking harbour, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
So basically, whenever I get married, we're going to go in there, and that's where we're having the scran afterwards.
I agree with that idea. It's a good idea.
It's a good idea to me.
Yeah. It's the most reasonable thing you've said in a while.
Most reasonable thing I've said in a while regarding that whole getting married thing.
That whole fucking marriage stuff.
Oh God, that's a topic for another day.
But no, 100%.
You know, so it's a good place. We highly recommend them. Hopefully they start sponsoring us and give us some free hoodies and t-shirts.
And they have some fucking bomb ass cookies, man.
Bomb ass cookies.
Oh my god.
Bomb ass merch.
Portuguese tarts.
And yeah. Although to be fair, sorry, yeah, you talk about sponsorships, but I would happily pay them for the rest of my life. Like, all my money, give me more seafood, please.
It's a good way to just forget about your troubles. Yeah. Just go and eat some fucking fresh fish.
Try down on some fresh fish. You know. It's,
I mean, the port's scenic enough without going to a restaurant, but that just it's the icing.
Except whenever you get a parking ticket.
Yeah, or whenever it's fucking packed because of the infamous and equally dreadful Port Sundays. Yeah, that's a topic for a different day.
Topic for a different day.
Or is that a topic for now?
I mean, Port Sundays. If you don't know about Port Sundays, where have you been living? Probably somewhere nicer than here. Yeah. But basically, so all those people that drive their cars really fast and really loudly down really narrow roads, or like when they get that roundabout, they just go. Well, then folk all decide to take their vehicles around one single town
and sit in a fucking queue for like 8 hours.
Yeah. So where we live, there's the triangle area. So there's 2 towns on the coast, and then there's one sort of inland. And what they do is they leave from inland town and they go out to one of the towns on the coast and then over the coast road to the other town and then back in through the inland town and then they log on home. Obviously they bring
cause a lot of fucking hassle for the rest of us.
Yeah, and apparently they bring in a lot of around Easter Sunday time. It's absolutely desperate. They're I think I've been once in Easter. I got caught in it. No, twice. The first time I went in by choice, and the second time I was in getting a Chinese and I forgot it was Easter Sunday. And I said, where are all these cars coming from? And then I remembered, Easter Sunday cruise.
I may fucking walk to the gym at Easter then, because the Ballycastle roundabout will be desperate.
Oh, it'll be desperate.
But for all you Ricky Yoke lovers, we don't hate you. We love you.
Just get better yokes.
Yeah, and don't fucking sit in queues for hours.
Stop ruining your cars. They come that way for a reason.
And stop ruining my weekends.
Stop ruining my weekends.
Yeah.
As long as we can still get them to native on a Saturday, we'll be grand.
Yeah.
Normally, it's a thing. After the first 2 podcasts, I think that's where we went. Or no, after
the second one.
After the second one, I think after the last or the day after the last one, we went to. We were still working on it, I think.
Yeah, this will be my 3rd time going now, so yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So overall, it's pretty good, and you should check it out. There's also Craic seafood in the other port, which
I've never been to it. My dad's been on about it.
Yeah, there's been accusations that Craic have stolen. Well, I don't know if maybe there's proof. I don't know. Maybe we're not going to be welcome a native anymore for misphrasing this. Craic stole their monkfish burger. But then apparently I know people that work at Craic and they say that natives stole their monkfish scampi, so I don't know.
Ooh, some saucy drama in the seafood industry.
The seafood politics. But I guess, yeah. Have you seen on Instagram there's Jammy Dodger Jaffa cakes?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was this an advertisement you got or what?
Yeah,
or?
it's not I got, and then it's not someone sent me as well, and they're like, "Oh, have you had these?" And I was like, "I haven't, but I don't really know if I will like them too much."
Jammy Dodger, like.
Yeah.
What is it? Just like Jaffa cakes full of like jam or what the fuck?
Yeah, so like those ring donuts you get with filling in them.
Oh yeah.
It's like a ring like that, and then there's like chocolate on the top, so it's kind of like a ring donut Jaffa cake with Jaffa cake filling in it.
Now that sounds like something I'd probably, in a weird, sick way, enjoy very much. But
yeah, I don't know. It seems like it might be a good way to get very sick very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Get diabetes or gain about fucking 17 stone in 2 minutes. Yeah.
I'm a simple man. I see Jaffa cake donut and I eat it. The Jaffa nut.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So it's gonna be strange. I think once it hits the market, I mean, it might just fail because there's a whole lot of things Jaffa cake have said, "Oh, we're going to start coming out with," and they've all just fallen off the market because the only thing about Jaffa cakes people like is the Jaffa cake.
The only thing I ever get adverts for is clothes.
Clothes.
What else? Microphones sometimes. That's it.
Yeah, I get advertised the Shure BM 7 something. I don't know.
Is that a microphone?
Yeah, it looks really good. I kind of want to get one, but at the same time I don't have any money, so I kind of... Sure, if you're listening, thumbs up. Talking about clothes, actually, so... Because I know you were saying, like, wouldn't it be class if some clothes company sponsored us?
Mm-hmm.
And a kind of weird turn of events to my... So to the email address associated with my GitHub account... Someone sent an email saying they like my style and they run like a magazine.
Your coding style?
My coding style, yeah, thanks very much. Here's the guy that was from the university. But no, so they were like, "Oh, well, I like your style. Basically here, I want you to work with me. I run a magazine company." And I was like, you run a magazine company? Okay, how does that have to do with my style? And then I reread it. He runs a wearable magazine company. So, every month, they send out a shirt with a magazine sewn into it.
I feel like I'd need to see a photo of this to like sort of process it.
It's weird, but then I was like, okay, free stuff, I'm on board. Excellent. Yeah. It's like, right, cool, here's a discount code, or here's a discount link, click on it, head and check out, and all I have to pay for is the shipping. Which is kind of... Like you see it on Instagram all the time. All you have to pay for is shipping, but they're a US based company, so they still get £70 off you either way. Yeah. But the guy's in Sweden, so it's only like €5.
Oh, we've got to help the Swedes.
Help the Swedish economy. So if it's a scam, I'm only out of £5. I'm going to use a disposable card for it. If you're listening, Peter, I don't think you're a scammer, but I just don't trust anybody that emails my GitHub email address talking about my style.
He just doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah. So I think what I'll do, I'll use a virtual card, a disposable one that just shreds itself after one use, and then I shall pay you €5. And if you scam me, I swear to God, I will find you and I will get my money back, because we want to be PG and family friendly on the podcast, so we don't get demonetized.
That's not really what he means.
But yeah, so I think that's a pretty cool idea. So if I do go ahead and do it, and it does arrive before the next episode, I will happily wear it and show it off, and let you know what I think. So yeah.
Peter, hit me up too. I like free stuff as well.
I like free stuff. We'll see what the crack is with that now. Ooh. But yeah. Let's talk about some slightly more nerdy stuff for a minute. This seems like a very nerdy podcast. Like, we're talking about movie, games.
I was just thinking to myself, like, how could it get any more nerdy?
How could it get any more nerdy? Yeah. Well, let's talk about a little-known film franchise called The Matrix. It's funny how you can call something a franchise with only one movie. That's the thing. It's like, after the good movies, like, the rest don't exist. So there was The Matrix 1 and 2, and that was it. Nothing else, even though there's 3.
Well, that's 2 movies and not 1.
Yeah, some people, it's debatable on the second. Some people say there's only 1, and some people say no, there's 2. But then they, like, the way they stop watching Game of Thrones in season 7. There is no season 8.
Yeah. I'd happily jump on that bandwagon.
I wish I never saw it. So yeah, no. The Matrix 4, I can't tell, is it a reboot of the whole thing as if it's only happening now for the first time?
I don't know, because I watched the trailer for it, and again, I haven't, like, I've kind of seen, like, most, like, bits and pieces of them, but it's not something I'd be a huge fan of.
Well, it's like, I'm thinking, I'll give you a recap. So in the first one, basically, he's like a hacker, and he's got this data for some dude, and the guy comes for it, and his computer screen tells him to follow the rabbit, and then this doll that comes with the guy has a tattoo on his shoulder, and they go to a club and find this doll, and blah blah blah. He ends up taking pills and tripping out and getting pulled out of the Matrix. That's really it. So he then becomes the chosen one, and like brings about the destruction of all these machines that are the machines that basically turn humans into batteries. He's destroyed them all. Kind of become the overlord of the Matrix. So I don't know, is this setting up now that he plugged himself back in because he was bored and all the other robots were dead? Is it like a reboot kind of thing? Because I see whoever Morpheus is supposed to be has been recast. He's not
Lawrence Fishburne's just like, nah, fuck this shit.
I don't want it. Out of here. So I don't know how it's going to go, but
I've no idea. Like,
it's interesting.
I can't remember what happens in the third one, but I just assume that they like fucking resolve everything.
He's ended up left in charge of pretty much everything. Either the just run the Matrix dies or he kills him, and then he resets it all, or I can't quite remember myself.
So he's fucked something up.
Something's gone wrong. He's back in the Matrix because it looks like kind of an entire reboot where they're kind of trying to reintroduce people like. But then at the same time, it's called The Matrix 4 Resurrections, and in the trailer, him and Neo from the first three recognize each other. And then he's taking blue pills every day as a prescription. So is he like keeping himself in and then trying to forget about the outside world? Has something happened? Something's gone wrong? Is she about to die and he's plugged her in so that she can live in the I don't know what's happening, man. I'm really scared.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably go watch it too. Just to get some popcorn.
More podcast content.
Just more popcorn as well, and
more popcorn.
Large Coke Zeros.
Time away from C#. Fun fact about C#, it's the only programming language where the compiler is written in the language it compiles.
I'll add that to my facts that I'll never use.
Never use. Well, I think so anyway. Because Roslyn is the compiler and it's written in C#. I don't know how. I think Python's compiled with C++.
Yeah.
I don't know what C++ is compiled with, but either way.
To get real fucking shifty and spooky, do you think we live in a Matrix?
Oh, baby. Well, I don't know, because it's kind of in one way. On one hand, yes, but in the same hand,
no,
not quite. Well, I don't know. Like it kind of makes sense. Like the way computers work and stuff is kind of similar to how real life works, and like computers being possible in general. But then also, so this all ties in. But so basically, like at the really, really, really big like the deep subatomic level.
Yeah.
Like the smallest level you can go. Like if you were to move something, you know the way you normally get that sort of smooth line.
Yeah.
Motion. Well, it's kind of like right down at that base level. If you were to watch a quark or something move, it would just be like, so it's here now, and then just next thing you know, is over here. There's no motion. It's just move between them, like a pixel turning on and off. Just move between them.
No, I know what you mean.
So that's kind of like why I think yes, but at the same time I kind of think no, because things like cosmic rays and stuff. So there's a big video the popular science YouTube channel Veritasium put out, where the universe is hostile to computers. Basically, and I told you about this as well, there was like a Super Mario speedrunner, and he was doing his run, and he did a jump and basically fucking up through the level, right to the top, and whoa. So they looked at his hardware, they looked at all the games, they looked at everything. It was basically impossible, so everyone assumed he was cheating. Until some dude was like, hang on a minute. And what he did was he manually flipped a bit in his CPU register on the exact frame that dude warped up, and he got the exact same warp. So some little quark from outer space, man, hit the atmosphere, hit a whole lot of air molecules, destabilized, went through his computer and hit his RAM in one bit, flipped it, and sent him flying up through the sky in the game. So, like, in a world where computers can't really survive well, they can't survive, that's where error correction code memory came from, but, like, it is insanely, like, you still can't stop it. The only way to correct for it, really, NASA sends rockets up with 4 computers. So there's a main computer and then 3 extras. So if the main computer gets hit by some cosmic ray and a whole lot of bits flip, it will be out of line, because obviously they don't hit all of them. It'll be out of line with the other 3, so the other 3 will override it and fix its memory. And they counted it, so like in one 5-minute space, or 1 5-minute or 5-hour flight, it happened 168 times.
I like the fucking idea that if I was made up of bytes, I would just do like a fucking jump something, then like a cord from outer space would just hit me, and I'd just fucking yeet up into the atmosphere.
Yeah, well that's another thing, like things like that.
Then I'd just plummet to my death and die tragically.
Yeah, but then there's things that, you know, like that kind of, if we were in a simulation, wouldn't really don't make sense, like cancers and stuff like that, and like survivability, because things would be.
Yeah.
Like you could have 2 cancer patients, the exact same state, cancer is a very, very extreme way to go, but like 2 people that are exactly the same molecular structure wise and condition wise, like 2 twins, 2 identical twins could catch the same virus, or the same bacteria. One of them could die and the other one couldn't. Yeah. Despite having the exact same everything. Even if you could make sure they were the exact same height, they have the exact same molecule, they're all in the same state, blah blah blah, whatever. There's still so much variation. Yeah. Which was kind of what makes me think, well, if the universe was a simulation, surely things like that would have constant rules.
Sometimes I'll just be like, on a completely different fucking wacky note, I'll just be like looking up at the stars sometimes, and I'll just imagine that we're in like somebody's playhouse, and they'll just take like the lid off, and it's just the sky, and they'll like look down, and it's this fucking gigantic person, and then they just like lift you or something, play with you like it's like fucking Toy Story or something. Then I'm just like, what the fuck is this person putting my Coke Zero? Like, yeah.
It's just like The Sims. Like you don't see it happening, but it is happening.
But yeah, speaking of like looking up at the stars and stuff, when I was down in Ballycastle, I think it was last week. Was it last week? I think it was.
2 weeks ago, maybe.
Me and my dad saw a star burn out. It just like went really fucking bright and then just disappeared. And then we also saw. We weren't sure if they were shooting stars, but they were moving really fast, and they were like way too high to be like fucking airplanes or whatever. But they could have been like satellites, because they were just like fucking going like woo, like so fast. But that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. It was fucking. You see some crazy shit whenever you start
stuff when you look at the
sky for long enough on a starry night.
I know the International Space Station. You can see it from Earth. Like you can see it pinging across the sky.
Yeah, it could have been that.
But did you know that when you saw that star burn out and die, you actually saw the past?
Yes, we were talking about that too. We were like fucking blowing each other's minds for about like 2 hours. Going, whoa!
That happened like 4 million years ago, and we just.
I know. That's what we were saying. It was like, in like the fucking 1500s, that star might have been alive.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's like it's like you're technically always living in the past, because like the light from the sun takes like obviously 8 minutes to get here. But that's like the light from the sun isn't always the light that's about. Like there's this lamp here. Yeah. But the time, like the light still does take time to get to your bulb hole. So and then it takes time to process. So you're always at least like 0.06 of a second behind, because your brain's making sense of what you're seeing. Yeah. Blows your mind. Like how do you catch things if that's the case?
Yeah,
you know
I know.
Like,
it's like
if it isn't where it was when you started seeing it, how do you catch it? Maybe your brain just corrects for it.
It's fucking nuts. I suppose like maybe your hand just like covers like enough of like a certain amount of surface area or just something. So like
Well, perhaps.
like even if you don't catch it at the precise point, it like sort of
Yeah.
to the bit where you can kind of react to it. Then you're like, oh, and then
Well, I suppose you have as well because it's gravity acts on everything, not just the Earth and the Sun. So like we're exerting a small gravitational force on each other right now. So like if you're close enough to something, maybe it's kind of that plays a role. I don't know, man. I just work here.
I don't know. I did physics for GCSE and A levels, and I can't fucking remember any of it.
Sometimes stuff happens, and that's just the way it is. Deal with it.
The world's fucking weird. It's crazy. We're all here by chance, and we're all just fucking living it because we have to.
We're brains inside a skull, inside a skin suit, on top of a rock.
As Jim Morrison says, I don't know what's going to happen, but I want to get my fucking kicks in before the whole shithouse goes up in flames.
Well, what a wise man.
Yeah, that's how I try to live my life.
Oh yeah, that's the only way to do it, boy. It's the only way to do it.
Oh, sir. Words of wisdom.
Get it done. A query that came to me through Instagram, which might be a talking point to have, not because we've run out of talking points or anything.
No, don't be silly.
No.
Ridiculous.
So, productivity since the 1800s has gone through the roof, right, exponentially, but wages and stuff hasn't grown in line with that productivity. And someone
from the
says,
1800s?
Yeah. So like it has grown obviously, like still making, but it hasn't been like so. Like productivity has been exponential, but like just normal wage growth has been linear or something like that.
See what is productivity like sort of defined as then? Like what are the metrics for measuring it?
I mean, I think it's just sort of like the traditional sort of like GDP and GNP and all that kind of stuff. Like sort of how much a country puts out or how much it makes or.
I feel in part that's because of like technology. Like obviously, whenever the technology wasn't readily available, like everybody was sort of doing the like same sort of things, if that makes sense. In like the 1800s, whereas now like people have the capability to create like wacky shit, which can like generate so much revenue.
You're probably hearing clicks because I am looking up what this dude said to me, but it kind of blew my mind when I read it. So I wanna appropriately blow. I have to log myself out of Instagram. Never mind that. But I think he said something like to keep up with the minimum wage, we would have to buy 50 we have to buy like 100 Freddos an hour to keep up with the kind of the wage gap, which I thought was kind of freaky. Obviously, stuff like monetary policy comes into it, but I'm not too learned up on that.
Me neither.
I got my big in GCSE economics, and I was like, you know what, that'll do me. I can draw supply and demand graphs. I'm happy. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird like it's. I feel like we should talk about this a bit more because it seems like a very in-depth topic.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting.
It's an interesting topic, but it's just something we're not really read up on.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
Which we can't really contribute anything valuable to. But basically, long story short, corporations start paying people more. There we go.
I'm all for that.
I think I'm all for it. I think it's a really good way to put it. You know, just give people more money.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with it all? Sitting in the bank, sitting in the store, just give me money. I mean, you don't need all of it. But yeah, that's just pretty much. I wanted to bring it up because it was nice enough of someone to say, "Oh, here."
No, I think that's interesting, and it did make me think there for a minute. But I think productivity has it's definitely, well, productivity and wealth. Probably it's because of technology, whereas like people have like so many more different avenues to like sort of get rich now, whereas like there's only so much you could like fucking do in the 1800s because like there were no computers and stuff.
I mean, there's not really much I can add to it. I think more nowadays we have more things I guess that we want to buy, so we sort of notice the wage shortfall. Whereas back then you really wouldn't have wanted to buy much other than some food and maybe.
A new horse.
A new horse.
A new black suit.
Yeah, a new black suit. Like even back then, cars cost like £200 or something. Which by today's standard,
probably extortionate. But
by today's standard, it's like, it's £200 for that. Surely, here you go.
Hi boy, I'll have 10.
So I think it's an interesting thing to think about.
100%.
We're all being taken
And,
for fools.
Yeah, the prices of things are just going to keep going up as well. That's why I'm kind of, in my head, I'm always like sort of obsessed with investing, because the thought of everybody's always telling you to save, but like over time that money is just going to lose value due to inflation. So I'm always like obsessed with the idea of having it in the stock market or excuse me, or crypto, because even if I'm not making a lot of profit, I'm still making more profit than I would if I was just letting it sit in the bank.
That's true.
But then you're also increasing the risk of losing it. So
yeah, big losses. Big losses all the time.
He who takes the safe road, I don't know where I was going with that.
Doesn't die or something.
Doesn't die? Fuck, I'm all for that.
He who takes the safe road doesn't die. Well,
he who takes the safe road never truly lives. It's like, what's the point of being adverse to risk all your life? Where's the fun in that?
Yeah, that's
where's your will to be weird?
There's no growth in comfort, as they always say.
Yeah.
So get out of your comfort zone, do things that terrify you, and maybe one day you'll make a lot of money. Like Jeff.
You can't take it with you, as people say to you, but I'm always afraid I'll go to like heaven or something, and then there'll be Vikings there, and they'll just be, and I'll be like, oh fuck, and they'll be like, oh, did you not bring any treasure? You didn't bring any treasure with me. Oh, sir, you're gonna have to fucking work. Them way all they're like fucking like gold crosses.
Oops, I cut that out.
So I always have that fear that I'll go to heaven, and it turns out that you can bring
it with
money
you.
with you.
This chump spent it all.
Yeah.
I plan to go out.
He left it to his fucking family on Earth.
What a nerd. You have to live like Diogenes, man. No shoes, no nothing. Just
living in a barrel. I was actually, whenever you called me Diogenes in the first episode, I started reading up on him, and he lived in a barrel.
Yeah. PewDiePie did a big video on him.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty good. His philosophy videos are quite good. I like them.
I fucking love philosophy. There's like a good Marcus Aurelius meditation. Like, what'd you call the podcast, or like a video series or audio series on Spotify that I listen to? It's pretty good. But then I listen to all the advice and then follow bits and pieces of it. The bit that's like too hard.
Follow the bit that's relevant.
It's like, I'll shove that deep down and keep an eye on it.
It's like, like when you're reading a book, like a programming book or something, you take out the bit relevant to the problem. You don't just put the whole book in it.
Yeah, or if something's like too complicated, you're like, I'll forget about that until I ever like come across that path.
Yeah. But that's good. We've pretty much exhausted that. So productivity's up, wages ain't as much in the same sort of proportions, and also if you can't take your stuff to heaven with you, we're all screwed.
Another point actually that just popped into my head about the productivity thing. Do you think there's like a stigma today if people like kind of take some time to relax, that people like think that they should be just like go all the time? I know personally myself, I would kind of be like that, where if I'm like sort of taking some time to relax, or if I'm just like lying there on my phone or something, I just like feel fucking guilty and feel like shit that I should be doing something a bit more productive or something. Do you think there's like more pressure on people today to like sort of go all the time? And
yeah, I sort of feel like there is. Obviously there's people saying, oh, you need to start a side hustle if you're not making enough money, and you do this, you do that, which is but I mean, kind of it is advantageous as well, because if you can harness it properly, you'll kind of light a fire under your own ass and get yourself to do stuff.
Yeah.
When I asked you, were you ready to come and record this podcast, you're like, my brain's kind of saying, oh, but
I know I should.
Yeah, I really should. So I think there's, like everything, it's never black or white. There's always an in between. You can always make it work for you, or you can just sit and give it. Oh man, everyone expects so much of me. I'm a failure. So I mean, I think as long as the only person expecting a lot of you is yourself, or if you're the only person you listen to, then it's good, because obviously society is saying, oh, you should do this, you should do that, but you know yourself what you've already been doing. So if you've been busy all day, like, yeah, obviously give yourself a little break and stuff, but like if you know that you've had a break and you're just lying around for the sake of lying around, then you can light the fire under your own ass and be like, hey, no, you should be working on this. You've been taking, you took all day today off, you took all day yesterday off, you get doing what you need to do, and so you don't have it all to do at the last minute. But then of course that links back to last episode, where like, if if you wait until the last minute, it only takes you to do it.
That's true. Though it doesn't mean you're going to put good effort into it though at the same time. But further to your point about like society saying, oh, you always need like a side hustle and all. Like I think that is like a good thing in a way. But then I feel like everybody has their own like sort of values and what they want out of life as well. So some people might just kind of want where they have like their day job and then at night they're just able to relax then and do whatever they want. Like that, that's their kind of own values where they just want a simple life where they can relax and, do other stuff. Whereas other people might be more like sort of like driven by like a monetary value and stuff like that there, and they feel like for themselves it's in their character that they want to be successful all the time and always want to be doing something. So I think it probably depends on the person's individual values as well.
Yeah, no, I would say definitely. You kind of hit the nail on the head. It depends what you want out of life. Like life is what you make of it. So make it your own, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's the problem I found with myself though is that my values always change all the time. Well, like not like. It's like sometimes like I'll think to myself like, oh, I really want to be successful and oh, I need to be doing this all the time, always grinding and all this here. But then other times I'm like, nah, I don't really sort of want the spotlight. I just kind of want like a simple life where I can just make enough money and then do whatever the fuck else I want. But then in my head I'm thinking, wait, is that just me kind of talking myself down because I'm scared of the effort I have to put into get success? So it's kind of like you're scared in case it is just your own subconscious trying to talk yourself down because you don't want to step outside of your comfort zone. So
it's it kind of come back to gratification as well from last episode. It's like you say to yourself during the day, I want to get this, I want to be this, I want to do that, and then you do like a little bit of work towards it, and then
you're like
later on in the day, you're like later on in the day, I think I did a bit of work towards this 2 hours ago. I'm not seeing any reward from it yet. I should just give up. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like linking back to that. Go out and get it, and then you've got as well. Success is different thing to different people, right? So there's monetary success where you make a lot of money and blah blah blah, or there's like fame or whatever. But like, if you set out to do something, like say we set out to make this podcast for like mental health reasons. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like me and you are both depressed or whatever. Somebody said just like sit down and talk to each other about how we're feeling or whatever. The end goal really there is that we stop being depressed. So if that's we haven't gained any money, we haven't gained any.
So that would be what I was kind of talking about last episode. That would be intrinsic motivation then.
Yeah. So like if it's for yourself, like if you set it up to talk to your pal every week and then just put it out online, the goal is you're successful in the goal if you no longer feel as upset or as alone, and maybe like along the way if you put the podcast up and people I feel like that sometimes, so it's good to know I'm not alone, so like that's success in different ways.
The end value isn't always monetary.
It's not always money, it's not always fame, it's not always chicks. It's good to have those things. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot more behind a man than money and
well, speak for yourself.
Like it's in we were talking about Marvel earlier. It's in Endgame. Robert Downey Jr.'s character, he just says my dad always told me no amount of money ever bought a second of time. So it's really just about spending your time wisely. You know what I mean? Like you could chase money, and by the time you get it, you're so old and you're so like isolated.
Yeah. What was the point?
There's no time. There's nothing to spend it on. You're still miserable, but you're rich. Good job.
Yeah. You've just kind of been on like a fucking like hamster wheel or like a I don't know, like a fucking donkey or something, like chasing after like an apple or something, like a string. Yeah.
It's always like, so you see people like they're never in the moment. They're always right. So I've got to do this, and then they get that.
They're always thinking about the future, and then they're always looking. I'm guilty of that. That's
It's always good to be looking into the future, but like you don't live in the future. You live now. And you're like, I'm going to go and get this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get that. I'm going to do. And then whenever it all happens, as soon as you get it, you're at the next thing.
That's 100% the way I am a lot of the time. Especially like if I'm anxious about something that's upcoming, I'll be like, oh, see, once that's done, I've got that out of the way. Oh, I'll be chill then. But as soon as I do that, then I'm like, yeah, that wasn't so bad. I'm just, I find something else to worry about. Yeah.
It's always the way of it. Like as people, that's kind of how we're wired. Trying to.
You need something to fixate on.
Yeah, you find something to fixate on, so you feel like everything's under control. But sometimes you fixate on things that you don't have any control over, and then you feel.
I think you just have to kind of realize that you can't control everything.
Yeah,
and shit's gonna be whack as fuck.
Stuff's gonna be wacky, and that's what's going to happen. Deal with it.
Welcome to the fucking suck.
Welcome to 2000 Limited Craic. Everything's wacky. We don't know what's up. We don't know what's down on.
We don't know what the fuck
somewhere, and
we're just
behind me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's all it is. It's pretty much winging it.
You just wing it day in, day out. You know, you just take life as a good. See, that's kind of the way I am, and maybe it frustrates people that I know or that are close with me, but I really am not subscribed to the whole. I sound like such a hipster. I'm not subscribed to that whole thing, but like I sort of don't really like forward looking. Isn't where I am. I am now. Like if I'm stressed, am I stressed now? No. Do I have anything to do at the minute? No. That thing's coming up. Am I doing it now? No. Well, then I'm not worried about it.
I'm the complete opposite. Like I'll just be like sitting and I'll be like, fuck, I didn't get this thing working on Friday. Fuck, I'm gonna have to deal with that on Monday. Like, oh fuck, what if they think I took like too much time doing that and I haven't like got it ready in time and they're gonna be pissed off at me. Like, fuck, yeah.
Take a chill pill, man.
I know.
But yeah, no, like I think it really does kind of get on people's boobs.
I think it gets on people's boobs because they want to be more like that and they can't.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like it's because like. Oh, sometimes there are obviously bad things about it. Like, don't get me wrong, I have let myself shorthanded quite a lot.
Who hasn't?
But in general, I mean, I don't feel as. But then sometimes it does, like everybody, that does just hit you. It's like.
And you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, like when you look big picture, or when you live small scale for so long, and then you look at the big picture, like, holy god, it's been like 12 years since whenever, what have I done in that time? Yeah. Because every day you're not doing anything, but then you do the big things when they happen. Because you're not planning for the big things, they don't take up as much time for you, and you just feel like you're not doing anything. Which sometimes maybe you're not, maybe you don't do anything, maybe you just wing it when you get there, and that's fine. Get off this podcast.
Well, we always have enough tangents to cover our ass.
To fill up the time. We did, well, at least every episode's at least an hour long, which is kind of something I thought I kind of internally wanted to hit, but I'm not overly strict on it. Like I don't mind if we have an episode that's 45 minutes long, as long as we're not talking complete dribble.
As long as people enjoy it.
As long as we enjoy ourselves.
That's it.
I don't think there's really anything we've got onto a tangent about where we've had to cut it out completely. There are some things maybe we misspoke or missaid something, or like, you know what, we'll cut that whole segment.
Or you just have an absolute brain fart and you can't remember what you said.
We'll just cut a segment because we don't want to come across as having been misinformed or being ignorant when really we know what we meant to say, we just didn't say it and we can't re-record it. But no, I think life in general, I don't know how we got here. Where did we start at? Wages,
fucking bringing money into the afterlife.
Yes, and then we got on to success meaning different things to different people. But yeah, no. So I think you know, as long as you make yourself happy, and
that's it.
That's something I was going to say. The whole thing about the pressure to have a side hustle and everything. The new Rage Against record, No More Generation, they had like a thing, like a monologue as well that went out with it. And one of the things they talk about, he says, like, you know, the constant pressure to make more money, to do more. Oh, you're running low on cash, start a side hustle, you know, that sort of thing.
That's something I kind of want to touch on too. It's like everybody loves the idea of making more money, but if more kind of stress and like sort of anguish comes with that, is it really worth it? That's something I think about a lot.
I think we sort of covered this in the last episode. But
we probably did.
There is a point where more money will make you more happy. Enough to get by and cover unexpected expenses, and you're grand. But yeah, no, it's because sometimes it can come with stress as well. Obviously, you
Yeah.
win the lottery and everyone that you know is knocking down your door. Oh, do you mind when we were?
It's like everybody would want a handout.
Yeah, like you haven't talked to me in nearly 12 years. Get out of my face.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think it's just, as we always say, it's just one of those things.
What are just talking about the lottery? Do you ever? And James Smith talked about this in his book, and it actually did kind of blow my mind a wee bit. And I don't want to come across as ignorant because I know if you do win the lottery, like it will literally change your life. But do you ever find it like nuts that like some people will buy tickets every week for like years for something that the odds are definitely not in their favour, and there's more odds that they might get killed by a shark than actually winning the lottery. But if you said to them, it's like, oh, see that a fiver or whatever you're doing every week, if you just invested that or something, they'd be like, oh, wise up, I don't want to get into that shit. But instead they're fucking they're putting in a fiver for years and years and years, and this sort of false hope that they're going to be the one. Yeah. It sort of blows my mind in a way.
Yeah.
And the amount of money they would have wasted over how much would that compound to if you were to calculate it up? That's something that always blows my mind.
I mean, I know somebody who plays it religiously every week, and they just won $1.5 grand. So fair play to them.
Yeah, 100%.
But I know for a fact they definitely, if the amount they put in for the time I've known them every week is the amount they put in since they've been playing the lottery, they have definitely been shortchanged. They've won $1 grand and a bit a few times, but they still have not got out what they put in.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I think it's people always kind of want the instant fix, the sort of easy instant fix. But if they think about something that it's gonna take a while to do, it's so off putting.
Yeah.
But that kind of goes back. I can't remember exactly what you said when we were sort of started this whole tangent about what success means to different people, but it's kind of I think you did say something about whenever this is what you said. It was it was about if you're programming something or you're creating something and you don't see the benefits straight away, you're why am I doing this or whatever. But I still am kind of like that, but I think just through training in the gym for a year and stuff, and then seeing obviously I haven't become fucking Arnold, but you see improvements. It takes a year. Rome wasn't built in a day, but you see the improvements. You see your muscles starting to tone up and you gain strength and all. You're fuck, it actually does work if you just trust in the process and be consistent. So then now I kind of try to apply that to different things, instead of at the start being, oh, this is going to be so much effort, oh fuck, I can't, just stick with it to see what you can actually get out of it.
If it's a big project, if it's a creative project, do a piece at a time.
Yeah, you don't have to go balls to the wall and then burn out and then don't look at it for months. Just
editing these podcasts, we'll record normally on Friday or Saturday, and then I'll take maybe until Monday night to finish edit that, just a wee bit at a time. Take regular breaks, because you don't want to, if it's something you're putting out because you want to do it, you don't want to sicken yourself with it.
You don't want it to feel like some big ass chore. Yeah.
So that's just really just sort of sticking at it, and obviously knowing what success means for you, because you don't want to chase the phantom boogeyman of somebody else's success. Because
even just the idea of the whole thing for me, the kind of reason for doing it was to kind of put myself out there more, and I sort of hate I'm not trying to say I'm some absolute visionary, but I hate the idea of following the norm where you just do the same thing everybody else is doing, and if you do something that's sort of different, then people are oh, that's fucking weird, what's he doing that for, oh, that's strange, oh, I wouldn't do that there. I love the idea of doing something that people wouldn't normally do, and kind of stepping out of my comfort zone and putting myself out there. So that's kind of, at the minute, that's kind of my motivation for the podcast.
Definitely one of them. Sort of thing. Podcasting, it's always something I've kind of wanted to do, even though I'm not really a big podcast listener. I think I know two of them that I would listen to, not even regularly. I
actually do listen to quite a few podcasts.
But I think it's just another thing, because obviously, I stream, I used to make YouTube videos. It's I don't know, I'm kind of I'm the least creative person I know. I can't draw for shit, I can't write compelling stories, I can't make music, but I just like to
do shit, put yourself out there,
put stuff online, and be like, hey, look at this, and everyone's always like, that's pure crap. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, but that's. I think about this all the time too. Like, see, people are going, "Oh, that's shit. What a fucking weirdo. What's he doing that for?" Like, this is going to sound very harsh, and I don't want to sound like a dick, but I often think, like, what the fuck are those people doing? Like, they're just sitting on their couch being normies, the same as everybody else, too afraid to do something in case
nobody
they're
cares
judged.
what you think.
Exactly. But it's like whenever people, if somebody has to say to me, "Oh, fucking weirdo," like doing that there, I'd just be like thinking, why should I give a shit about that person's kind of opinion, because what the fuck are they doing with their lives?
Yeah, it's like some people,
and I don't want to sound like a dick, but that is kind of my internal monologue.
No, some people like just want to be liked, and that's it. That's all they care about. They don't want to be seen as weird or whatever. But like when you think about it, like these podcasts and all the other stuff that we do online is going to be online long after we were offline forever. So like from beyond the grave, people could still stumble upon these podcasts and be like, you know what, these guys from back in the day really had a point about life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So like I think that's really cool.
So do I. It's like sort of, there's like I think the word's preeminent. There's like an element of that to it where you can like sort of, like, it might not apply to us, it might, who the fuck knows, where it's like where you can like sort of be remembered after your death. Yeah.
Like if the technology isn't there to put my brain in a robot, at least I'll kind of still be around.
Well, your creative output will live on.
That's it.
100%. I think about that a lot too.
And of course every Google data center ever just goes boop.
Which probably is.
I'll keep my laptop safe and they'll all be on there.
Yeah, just like a fucking hard drive somewhere.
But I think we've had a pretty good episode today. I don't think there's anything else I want to cover.
No, not really. But that was just kind of like a point that's always sort of been in my head that I do think about a lot, and I just saying it out loud is actually pretty satisfying. Where like if people are thinking, oh, what a weirdo, oh, he's doing a podcast, what's he doing that for? Like, what the fuck are those people doing with their lives? You know, fuck you.
There you go, you finally said it.
Yeah, it feels satisfying.
I think it's just like it's a good process. I don't know, like it might be the most nerdy thing ever, but you just feel really cool doing it. Like
you feel like you're just like that like internal dialogue that you like never sort of expressed to anyone. You feel like you're just like you're just like sending it out to them.
But like even things like obviously like the technical side of it, like we've engineered the mic hanging from a light shade. We've framed up that
but even just seeing our setup like evolve over the episodes and stuff, it's cool.
Like even now, like it looks pretty haphazard, but like it's better than it was. Like it used to just be in the room, get good daylight, open the blinds, right, let's go, quick before it gets dark. And now we have light bulbs that kind of put out more light than other light bulbs and stuff. I'm noticing you're a little yellow over there looking compared to my white wall, but you know what? I'm kind of vibing with it.
We'll just pretend I've got a Simpsons filter on or something.
So I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying how we evolve.
100%. I'm enjoying that we've like it wasn't like because I've kind of had this in the past where you sort of big brain these ideas and then they just like fucking fall through. I'm enjoying that this hasn't fallen through and that we have actually been consistent with it.
It's just something to have every week. Just sit down and have a chat. Like, even if we don't get to talk every day, we can just catch up for the week and then talk about a few things that interest us and then
100%.
just kind of wrap it up. I mean,
and just get your fucking creative, crazy ass fucking
get your juices
out
flowing,
into the world.
Get your brain farting. I think we might be alright to leave it there.
So do I. Thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you again next week.
And as always, if you want to leave a message on Anchor for us to put into the podcast, if you want to do a little, like if their voice messages, you don't have to record your face, you don't have to go onto the YouTube video, you can just be stuck in and we'll just sit and listen to it. But I don't know, I think it's good to have that kind of feedback, interaction that way. Obviously, again, just leave comments on Instagram and if you know us, send us messages.
Yeah,
we'll let you know.
100%. It's always kind of nice to see where we can improve and make it better, because that's what life's about. Consistently improving.
These are just as much for us as they are for you. And like if you're thinking, oh, that was really good, but I would kind of prefer maybe if the mic didn't wasn't so close to whoever.
We would prefer if the mic wasn't hanging off.
Prefer if the mic wasn't hanging off a lamp, but you know what we're making do.
You know what? We're making do.
Or
with
like
what
you know,
we
I
have.
prefer if it wasn't mixed as loudly because every time I press play, it blasts my eardrums to pieces.
Or you prefer if Luke didn't swing in his chair so much, which I notice I have been doing a lot this episode.
There's those sort of things.
That's
as well.
just my fucking ADHD brain just.
It's an ADHD thing where like you can't sit still.
Well, I don't actually have ADHD, but like I'm pretty fucking hyper. Well, as far as I know, I don't. But
the medical people don't say we have it, but we know we got ADHD brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really all I wanted to say. Just leave your messages on Anchor. If you know us personally, you can send us messages, or you can send them to the Two Pals Unlimited Craic Instagram or our Instagrams, or join the Discord server at the link tree below. There's lots of link trees below. I have a link tree. Luke has one, and there's one for the podcast as well. So look up those links. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have our own website, but the episodes don't automatically publish, and I don't know how to put them on because I'm not that much of a nerd. Ha, JK. I just don't understand WordPress. Anyway, I'm rambling.
See you in the next episode. Goodbye.